What's up, guys? This is the Live Loud Life podcast. My name is Antonio, your host of the Live Loud Life podcast. My wife and I are doctors of chiropractic here in Lafayette, Colorado, just outside of Boulder in Boulder County. And we love helping you guys live a loud life, whether that's help with nutrition, pain management, training, lifestyle, parenting. We're just trying to help our community expand and grow and create generational health from the youngest to the oldest. So that's a little bit about us. And today what we're going to talk about is consistency. And I'm kind of pulling, it's been, with COVID and everything, it's been harder to just coordinate schedules and stuff with guests. It's not impossible. I'm just saying harder. And to be honest, I've also been I've been hesitant about pulling on different guests because I'm still trying to find the direction and flow of where we want this Live Loud Life podcast to go. And I want good content for you guys. And so, part of it was just, I wanted to do it like locally with some people, but then there wasn't a lot of trusted resources I wanted to get into. And so I'm spanning out, but I've been reflecting a lot on my own journey in life over 2021, which was still a great year. Not a lot of downs, and there was a lot of great things that happened. There was nothing horrible that happened, but ups and downs of mostly stress and me reflecting back on how I was taking care of myself. I am a helper by nature. My default is to always look for and try to help other people before myself. Many of you are like that. And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong if you don't do that, because what we're talking about is I didn't put a lot of time and effort in the previous podcast. We talked about making easy choices versus hard choices. It's my own responsibility. Like I'm not putting blame or fault on anything like that. It's my own responsibility to make hard versus easy choices. And as I was making easier choices, I started spiraling down into this cascade and snowballing in a negative direction where things just felt overwhelming and out of control. Whereas more structure, right, would have helped. Discipline equals freedom, as Jocko Willink consistently says, is having that discipline of making those hard decisions and training provides you more freedom. And it was a tough thing for me to swallow because I kind of always, just expected I had a certain amount of effort put before, and I've developed enough skills that it would be able to kind of, carry me through this. But it's a constant process. And with that, you need the consistency, right? And so consistency is what we want to talk about. And consistency can be tough because we're comparing that to perfection or oftentimes intensity. Oftentimes, we want things to be perfectly developed and planned before we implement. And interestingly enough, I'm a shoot first, aim second type of guy, which has been helpful in certain situations and not helpful in other situations. And that can create some kind of erratic, structure and timelines, if you will, and direction towards goals and outcomes. And so this year, I'm trying to create some goals, some templates around certain themes, if you will, and one of which is just consistency. Previously, I have been consistent in learning, continuing education, doing things, but it was not as disciplined as I had hoped to be because I was making easy choices. I wasn't, buckling down and saying, nope, I made this choice and I'm going to do it this way, right? And so, we're showing how all of these different elements, it's not just about just doing the same thing, right? It is about that, but there's certain elements that throw you off your game. And again, if you have not listened to a previous episode about making easy versus hard choices and falling to the level of your training, I really suggest that you do. But my big goal this year is consistency. That's the reason why I started the 75 Hard Challenge. I had to restart it. and I'm redoing it, and as I'm recording this, I'm on day 9 of 75, and it's a lengthy goal. I've never done this before. I don't know how it's going to come out. It is one of the tougher things that I've done, just based on that consistency model, and that's the thing that I've struggled with previously, and that's the reason why I'm doing it. Is I'm trying to set myself up in a framework to be consistent, so that in turn will create habits of more consistency, so that in turn will blossom out into all these other things, right? And you don't need perfection to do that. And this is it's crazy because it's come out in so many different elements. And when I'm talking about different elements, I'm talking about from the business coaching meeting that we had last week. I'm talking about from a Disney movie I saw with my kids the other week before, is this concept of you don't have to know the whole path. You just have to see that next step. And when you set up a framework of understanding where that next step is going to be, that will help you maintain the path of consistency. Again, there's multiple roads to Rome. When you hit a fork in the road and you can't see where either one lands, there's not necessarily a right or wrong decision. And that's what I used to get wrapped up in. It's like, I don't want to make the wrong decision. I don't know what's going to happen with each one of these. And then I get stalled, and either no decision happens, or it could have been done faster and I could have moved on and then adapted and adjusted as seen fit, based on actually making quicker decisions. So it's interesting because I'm showing this sometimes getting stalled based on decisions, but yet I'm a shoot first, aim second type of guy. I'm a fast implementer. I apologize. I'm losing the term for the strength finder word that I have from taking that test, but it's action oriented. I like taking action. I don't like taking a lot of time to make decisions, and so this is this pull that I get back and forth, and what I'm going to fall back onto because of that kind of that tug of war that I'm kind of describing, is the training of consistency. So with that training, it's going to be on a strong platform of foundation of working out, diet and nutrition, water, and then other practices such as reading and learning, so on and so forth. That's basically what 75 hard. It's nothing new. It's nothing challenging. It's nothing hard. It gets scrutinized because it's so complex, but that's the whole point. Is you don't need elaborate perfection and all these other things to make it happen. Look at everyone else who's been consistent and they talk or been successful. They just talk about consistency. It's doing it over and over again. It's the reason why we're trying to keep up with this podcast, to be able to provide you guys with valuable information. If I can be consistent providing more great content for you, then hopefully you're going to listen to it and you're going to have these things turn and provide good outcome for you. And it's going to help me keep my creativity going so I can provide more and more content for you and our listeners. And that's really all I'm trying to do, is because last year was a little erratic for me. I don't know how it was for you. The last 2 years, still crazy. I was having a conversation about COVID and the state of the world with one of our patients today, and just some different things. And at times I feel like where we are, we're back to April of 2020 and how things feel and are going. And it's just crazy. And it's really a mind warp in a game. And I can only change and I can only do so much. So I'm going to default back to, again, consistency, right? And I want to encourage you to do the same, because many of you are in a very similar position as I am. We got different goals and expectations and all these things, and we sometimes lose sight of it because there's so much going on. Whereas if you just boil it down, what are the things that you have control over? What can you be consistent in? And then kind of allow that to line up with everything else, and or just being on top of it and saying, through that consistency, I'm going to bring this in so it all lines up together. So I'm going to say it again, consistency. Keep it up. If you guys are in it, in the thick of it, you're doing great. If you've fallen off the tracks, no worries. You can always get back on. It's just restructuring and setting that framework of the goals of what you want to be consistent. You can't do everything every day. So I'm putting it into a box, and I got control over this, and I can be consistent in these things, and that's going to help carry over to everything else. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Live loud.